When there is a collaboration of two of the biggest brands in watchmaking, the result is almost a given to be promising. And when there is a collaboration between the brands that stand for and represent completely different values, brand attributes, goals and target market, the result is bound to be interesting and sometimes shocking. When one of the brands has the values of accessibility, affordability and disposability, and then the other has none of them, rather all the attributes opposite to these, that is exclusivity, prestige, timelessness and everlastingness. Swatch and Omega are although sister companies, they operate and have produced watches in completely different fashion and for completely different markets, offered at completely different price points. An interesting point here is that there's one common attribute in both of them, or should we say, there's one common attribute missing in both of them, and that is none of these used to come with a demand in backlog or people lining outside the stores or waiting on wait lists or paying 2 to 3 times the price over the retail. But with this collaboration, this attribute is now an added ingredient. The result is what we saw as MoonSwatch, a watch that is not an homage of Speedmaster, rather it is a Speedmaster, but comes at under 5% of the price of Speedmaster Professional. A watch that has every design aspect of Speedmaster, from the case shape to the case flanks to the bezel looks and watch dimensions, the looks and overall vibe of Omega Speedmaster, but interestingly is not produced by Omega. What's even more interesting is that the dial has Omega name bigger than the Swatch name, although it is not even retailed or sold by Omega either. Now it is a controversial release and many purists will not like it from the fact that it is not really a true Speedmaster, and there is no denying that Swatch have taken the credit for Omega's home run and inserted a page in their books from Omega's pages of success. There's more to MoonSwatch than just a concept that it is a Speedmaster on budget. What is it? Let's find out. We live in the times where we wear watches purely for the joy, pleasure and the experience that the watches offer on the wrist. And using the same approach to discuss how the MoonSwatch wears and feels on the wrist, what's incredible is that while it comes at a fraction of cost of the Speedmaster Professional, with the colored bioceramic cases and the all color combinations available, Swatch might have hit the nail on the head. You get the experience of Speedmaster case shape and design with proven many decades of success, but the fun and flexibility from the strap options and then the colorful case and dial options. A combination that we never actually saw in the actual Speedmaster Professional, and we likely never will. Another intelligent move that Swatch made is that while they only changed the dial layout, they retained the ingredients of Speedy that make it a success. For example, not just that they have kept the case shape the same, but all the case dimensions are almost identical. Measured from 2 to 8 o'clock position, we have a case size here of 41.9 mils. But if you measure the watch bezel diameter, it is 39.8 millimeter. So while Swatch or Omega will sell the Speedmaster as a 42 millimeter watch, if you talk about the face of the watch, it is only 40 millimeter. This is also why it looks smaller than a 42 mils watch when you put it on. The crystal on the watch is 33 millimeter, so it does not look all that small either, rather adds a nice amount of presence on the wrist. Under the macro, the watch comes with a decent amount of details, although you can see that the paint of hour markers is rather very thin, but for the price, you really can't complain. The printing on the dial is decent quality, and even under close inspection, there's nothing to fault. Even the grooving on the subdials looks reasonably executed, but if you look at the dial hand here, you can notice some surface irregularity. But again, I personally don't consider it as a big problem, considering the price of the watch. The printing on the bezel is reasonable, but while the edges are not the sharpest I've seen, again, it is still a winner for its price. On the wrist, the MoonSwatch wears very similar to how the MoonWatch wears. My wrist size is 6.5 inches and the wristband is 55mm. The watch case lug to lug is 47.3mm, so it sits in the center of my wrist. The case thickness here is 13.2 mils, but since this includes the domed crystal, it looks thinner than that. The watch contours to the wrist, and despite the larger lug to lug, you really can't fault its wear. Omega MoonSwatch is an interesting yet a controversial collaboration from the brands that offers a MoonWatch-like experience for a fraction of cost. While it is a winning recipe for the Swatch, it does appear to have taken away the exclusivity of the Speedmaster. Going purely by the name on the dial, the looks, case size and aesthetics, if you can have a Speedmaster for $300, why would you spend over $7 grand on it? The MoonSwatch is not a replica, it's not even an homage, it is a Speedmaster. And while it obviously doesn't bring with it all the history of Speedmaster, it quite possibly offers more fun attributes as a watch than the Speedmaster Professional itself. While it obviously doesn't replace the Speedmaster Professional at all, dare I say, the Speedmaster Professional itself may also not replace the MoonSwatch for what it offers. I mean, the Speedy itself, despite being 30 times more expensive, doesn't go for as much over the retail than the MoonSwatch that costs on retail only 5% of the Speedy's price. What a mad world we live in.